Hi everyone, it's Pedro Baez from Go for Glory Stable with Charlie Longo and Bob Fidanza. Today is February 22nd, 2026. This is the weekly update for the last week, plus any other topics going on with the barn and horse racing and harness racing and sports world in general. So as usual, please like or subscribe the channel. It helps the channel to grow and hopefully get more owners involved in this game. And and speaking of YouTube, that is where we have a lot of videos. So we've been just stay on top of that. We're putting up videos, various types of Paul's horses in Florida, Kelley's horses in Florida, jogging, getting working, and then Rob Harmon's horses in Big Z, same thing, jogging, getting working, bathing, pictures of them install anything. So that's going on. That's the content. So that's still going strong. Trying to think anything else. The billing. Not billing. Well, statements. The statements are going to go out. They've been a little delayed, but they're going to go out. They definitely have to go out by next week. And we just have an internal process that's a new internal process. That's what's taking it a little longer than usual. So, but hopefully it will be back to normal, kind of like mid-month cadence going forward. So that's the January statements. The uh, K1 tax stuff is still in process. So for anyone who I think there's like 15 or 16 people who asked for K1, so that's still in process. It's a very complicated process. So not like the 1099s, which are easy peasy, send those puppies out. The K1s are much more complicated, so it's in process. So just hang in there. Still targeting at some point in March. Obviously, hopefully as early in March as possible. And what else? Uh, Go for Glory auction. We still have in mind that we haven't had an auction, I think, since like December. I want to say Charlie and Bob. I think it was like December, so it's been a while. So we're
Yeah.
probably gonna look to get another one going, probably in March. We just got to get through a couple of things here, but that's still on the mind. Um, what else? Trot talk with Paul. We're looking forward to doing trot talk with Paul Kelley, at least Paul Kelley, because we haven't talked to him, I think, also since December. So that we'll probably look to schedule something in March. And March is a good month because then you'll kind of know a little bit more about what's going on with the babies. You still don't know what you got, but you know a little bit more than now, obviously. And what else? Um, Overall on the racing front, it was a pretty good week overall, I would say. Um, and I'm trying to think of anything else. The weather's thankfully warming up a little bit, so thank goodness for that. And even though we got like a blizzard coming on Sunday, so it's not over yet. Trying to think, and we continue to look for horses. So that's in our, we'll keep you all updated as soon as we have horses. We actually were the underbidder of a horse this week at 52,000. So we stopped at 52,000. The horse sold for 53,000. So we're out there. We're looking. Those are the types we want. We want the better horses. We want the versatile horses that can do half mile racing, do all types. So that's what we're looking for. And they're a little tricky to find, and you got to pay up for them. So that's going on in the background. Trying to think of anything else. Barn related. I guess that's it. So I guess with that being said, Charlie or Bob, did I miss anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. We wanted to touch on a few other topics.
Right.
One of which, and which just was just completed, was the U.S. men's hockey team was able to win the gold medal today against Canada, and I was glued to the TV set all morning, and that was a great thrill. Some of you probably remember their last gold medal win. I know I certainly did. That was back in 1980. I was in Vermont skiing, and I was on my way back home, and we listened to the game on the radio, and that was just off the charts. I'm sure Bob remembers that well. Bob, what'd you think about today's game?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a marvelous game. Just amazing talent. If you've ever watched the NHL All-Star game, they never touch each other. It's a showcase of talent, but it's not real hockey with the hitting and intensity and passion. And this
Hmm.
game had both. You had the best players in the world playing with their hearts. It was just a great game to watch. Really good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just end-to-end action. I mean, it was such a fast-paced game, and I love Canada. I have a soft spot for Canada. I've traveled there many times. I've raced there, but naturally, my heart was with the USA, and you feel for them because Canada, in our opinions, they outplayed the US today. But we got a couple of breaks, and the puck went our way, and we got the gold. And congratulations also to the women's hockey team for their win in the gold medal game. So. Great day to be American.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good timing that our Lebanon Louis is now named Coach Brooks.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good segue. I like that.
Very good. Yeah. So maybe that'll bring us some real luck. Yeah.
And actually, both Rob and Paul are big hockey guys too. So
That's
it's
right. That's right.
I think
Yeah.
Rob's son is like he works in
yeah,
coaching some hockey team somewhere.
Yeah, he's actually coaching, and Rob's son. Yeah, Rob's son was also playing, not in the NHL, obviously, but he was playing for a professional team down south, and he was doing very
right.
well until he got hurt, and then he decided to just go into coaching. So yeah, he plays with Rob. They're still playing together and enjoying it. And I think Paul, if I'm not mistaken, coached hockey. Pedro, is that correct?
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul has a Paul would be one of
Pedigree.
those. Yeah, he would be like $1 million pedigree type stuff. Well, maybe that's a little too high, but yeah, Paul's. I think his dad is in like the Paul's
Yeah,
dad. I think is in the harness on the harness
he's
the
in the
hockey
he's
Hall
in
of
the Hall
Fame.
of Fame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And so just so you all know, I'll just give you all. Yeah. So Paul Kelley, we're talking about the trainer. His dad is I believe in the Hall of Fame, at least the
yeah,
college Hall of Fame. Is it
yes.
all? Is it total
Yeah.
hockey, Bob?
No, college hockey.
College.
Yeah,
Yeah,
college hockey
Wow.
Hall of Fame.
college hockey Hall of Fame. His Paul's brother, I think he's recently retired, but he was a head of scouting, I think, for the Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks,
Right,
until
right.
very recently. He's the one who found Artemi Panarin, bread, the bread man who was on the Rangers for a while, the Russian, and so he's been in the league for a long time. Paul's son, I don't know why I can't get his name right now. I'm forgetting his name. Maybe Michael. Uh, Paul's son. He's not on the team anymore, but he was in charge of the video. He was in charge of video for the New York Rangers for like
Yeah.
5 years until I think this year he's not on the team at this year, but before that he was in charge of video for the Rangers. And he was able to get Paul like these great seats and like to sit with the families of the players. And yeah, Paul snuck. He got me in one time, and that was pretty cool. Sitting with the family of like the players, and there's like
Cool.
free food and everything. It's like actually pretty nice over at Madison Square Garden. But anyway, yeah. So both big hockey fans, and that was big. What else we got going on?
Well, outside of hockey, we wanted to briefly touch on the Hambo because that's been in the news in this week's edition of Harness Racing Update. And for those who don't get Harness Racing Update, you really should subscribe. A lot of interesting articles in there. And today they briefly mentioned that the Meadowlands is jumping back in and they're putting in the application, which needed to be in by March 1st, to bid on the Hambletonian for the next 3 years. This is the last year that the Meadowland has it. Jeff Corral initially had the first right of refusal and he initially passed, but for whatever reason had a change of heart and is going to try to get it back. That may cost him because Indiana is making his Hoosier Park, and Indiana is making a serious bid to get the rights to the Hambo for the next 3 years. And I've never been to Hoosier Park. One of the few tracks that I have not been to. I know they have a great surface. They put on a great show there. They have the backing of one of the big casinos. I forget which one.
I think it's
And
Caesars.
Caesars, okay. And I have a very strong feeling, and if they do get it, who knows? It may never come back to the Meadowlands. It's a big racing is big out in the Midwest, and I'm sure they'll pull out all the stops to make it special. And who knows if we'll ever get it back? Attendance wise, they may double what they bring in at the Meadowlands for that event. So who knows? Is it in the best interest of harness racing if it goes somewhere else for the next 3 years and possibly exposes more people to the game, might be a great thing. However, for us here in the East, it won't be a great thing because for us, we make a big event of it year after year. I've been going to the Hambo practically every year since the Meadowlands first got it in, I forget the year, maybe 1981 or something like
Yep,
that.
80, 81. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been, I remember 35,000 people being there. The attendance is maybe half that now. So, it remains to be seen. I would certainly miss it. And I wouldn't rule out the possibility of me going out there for the if it winds up at Hoosier Park. And, it's kind of on my racetrack bucket list. And I think that would be pretty special. And I'm sure it'll be an amazing time. So we'll see. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm definitely going to miss it because I like you. I've been to most of them. I rarely missed them here when they're here in Jersey. But I've also been to the Little Brown Jug, and they get excited about racing out in the Midwest there. And I
Hmm.
think I think you might be right about with the crowd they draw and the excitement. I mean, people go weeks ahead and chain their chairs to the fence at the Little Brown Jug to save
Yep.
their spot. There's a lot of excitement around the sport out there. So. I don't know. I have mixed feelings because of that.
Yeah. And one last thing on that before if Pedro wants to chime in is, you know, the Hambo to me, I may be wrong, but it's the marquee harness racing event in the world. I think the Europeans may feel differently with the Prix d'État in Vincennes, France, and whatever else they do in Solvalla, Sweden, but certainly in the U.S. That would leave the Meadowlands only with the Meadowlands pace. That race is obviously huge on the pacing side, but it doesn't have the luster, the
The
shine like the
history.
Hambletonian does. You don't get huge. The Meadowlands pace is run at night. You don't get as many people there. Still an exciting night, fun, but there's nothing like daytime harness racing. It's a big celebration, and if the Meadowlands loses that race, they lose a lot. They really do, and they have to pull out all the stops to get it back. It's Corral's got the money. Um, is it just strictly a business decision for him? I mean, he's put, a lot into the game, financially, and, he's always saying he loses money every year, but, he's still doing it. He's got Vernon Downs and Tioga. He's very wealthy, obviously, but, if you're losing money every year at three racetracks, you have to wonder, the wisdom of staying involved. So I don't know, maybe he doesn't lose as much as he says he does. Who knows? I mean, he could say whatever he wants to say. I don't see his books. I don't know if that's fact or not. But yeah, it would hurt New Jersey harness racing a lot if and the Meadowlands particularly if they lose that race to Indiana. And who knows? If they lose it to Indiana, you never know. Woodbine may look to jump, and Woodbine can still jump in and put in the application for this year. It's not automatically. It hasn't been awarded to anyone yet. Woodbine would put on a great show. Woodbine Mohawk. I love that track. I'm sure they would do a great job. So those are the only three tracks, in my opinion, that should have it. So we'll say, Pedro, you have any comments on that?
Well, I think they've talked about. So like you said, every track is kind of different. So I mean, like I think some people have said Red Mile potentially putting in a bid,
Hmm,
and because Kentucky's booming right now,
true. Yeah.
or even Ohio. Like, but the thing with Ohio is people would not be happy if the Hambletonian was on a 5/8, even though it used to be on half-mile tracks, you know, for years, like before Meadowlands. But you know, you could argue like Dayton, Scioto, one of those tracks. Maybe not Dayton. I think Scioto's the summer one. Yeah. I personally think it's just posturing. I think Jeff Gural was trying to like see who else is actually interested in hosting the Hambo, and that's why he took off the right of refusal. This is my opinion. And then I think now that he saw like, okay, Hoosier's pretty serious. They put in a 3-year
Hmm.
bid, and they are dead serious about taking it. And then potentially, like you said, Woodbine Mohawk might put a bid too. I think he's kind of like, all right. There's actually a little bit more demand than I thought, and now he might have to pay more, because I don't know how the bidding works. I don't know if it's like
No.
you know, but he needs it because he's playing the long game. He's trying to get that casino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I would think you would need a Hambletonian to show, give, just help with the reason and the rationale to get a casino. But we'll see. If he gets
Yeah,
a
certainly does
casino,
hurt.
yeah, I mean, if he gets a casino over there, or any even just slot machines or something, I mean, that would be a game changer.
Yeah,
That would
big
be
time.
huge for harness racing in general.
Yeah, they would rival Yonkers purses, and yeah, Yonkers would wind up. Well, I mean, they would still both do very well, but the Meadowlands would once again take the lead as the premier harness track in the country. That's where all the top horses would go if he can get the casino, and probably split between Yonkers and Meadowlands, depending on the horses, whether the half mile suits their style or whether the mile is preferred. So, yeah, it'll be great competition back and forth, and who knows, maybe some of those Meadowlands drivers. Or the Yonkers drivers would spend more time at the Meadowlands if that was the case. Guys like Gingras would, come back, and Kelley, you'd probably see them back on a regular basis. But these guys are independent contractors, and they're going to go where the money is, and you can't blame them. They've got making a living. You know. So anyway, we'll move on from the handball. And lastly, I just want to touch on one other note. We always like to tout our stable, Go for Glory stable, as providing the total harness racing experience, and a lot of our owners have witnessed that with all our events and the things that we do. And one of our owners, who fortunately for him lives very close to Big Z, and that's Al Fiorito, who's got a lot of horses with us and does a great job now sending us videos and pictures of our horses. And Al is, I kind of put the bug in Al's ear recently. Said, Al, you're there all the time. You're probably going to be retiring from work pretty soon. Why don't you just start jogging horses there with the guys? Going the double jog cart with them, and then after 2 or 3 times, they'll probably have you out there on your own. And that's kind of resonated with them. And guess what? He's told us last week, hey, guess what? I'm jogging horses, and he seems to be enjoying it, and good for him. And we're going to see if we can get Al on maybe next week or the week after, and he could talk about his experiences as an owner, and just jumping in the jog cart, and jogging his horses and seeing what that's like. So yeah, and we would encourage more of you to do that as well. We've said it over the years. Anyone's welcome to go down at any time. Just give us a heads up, and if you want to jump in the double jog cart, with our guys, then go for it. It doesn't have to be just when we're there, for a big event once or twice a year. You can do it anytime. Take advantage of it, especially when the weather warms up.
Yeah, everyone can. Rob does good. He sends us videos when he can, when he's wearing the meta glasses behind the horse, jogging, training. But yeah, if you see those videos coming from Big Z and they're from the side view or in the barn and stuff or in the bathing in the stalls, that's Alfie Arita. So you can all thank him for giving Big Z videos and so you can kind of see what's it's fun to see what's going on. It's fun when you can check and just see, oh, well, look, my horse. See how they're doing. you know. So anyway, so that's that. Thank you, Al, Fiorita, in that regard, and thank you anybody else. I know we have some other guys too who give us some pictures and videos. So we'll take them as you get them. And by the way, like Charlie said, the beauty of this game is anyone can do this. Anyone can drive horses and jog them and stuff and get behind your horse. You can't really do that in thoroughbreds. You can't, at least that I know of. You can't get on top of a thoroughbred. So, it's an amazing game. So, all right, anything else, Charlie and Bob, before we go to the next topic, or
Nope.
go through the horses?
Let's go.
All right. So before we go through the horses, I'm just gonna for the Paul Kelley horses. We're not gonna. The update is very general for him, which is fine. Anyone who's owned with Paul, no news is good news. So he just said all his babies have been in 230, and the 3-year-olds are just doing more intensive work on the straight track. We keep putting the videos of them on the straight track, doing intervals. So that's the update with Paul, and that's a good update. So no news is good news. If he reaches out to us out of nowhere, it's usually a bad sign. It's just kind of how it is. He'll let us know if it's something bad. But they're moving along, and even we can even say with Rob, his 3 babies, Beetlejuice, Solar Queen, 7 Seagrams, they have been in 243, 245, and same thing. They're doing fine. They're moving along. Just keep in mind also that they're in 2 different complete trainers in complete locations. So in Florida, the weather has been unbelievable, pristine. I don't think they even missed a day. It's been unbelievable this year. Up here, it's been complete chaos as far as the weather is concerned. Um, and also the size of the track. Paul is on the mile track down there, and up here they're on a half-mile track. So um, don't get hung up with this with the times. You know, if you hear Paul's in 2:30 and Rob's are in 2:43, they're all on schedule. They're all doing fine. They're all on schedule. We got, you know, we're doing great. All right. With that being said, let's get into the rest of the horses, and we got a couple of replays we're gonna go through. So, all right, let's begin. So, all right, the first of the horse is Beaueastel. Beaueastel trained this week, and he's doing fine, and he is targeted to qualify pretty much next week. So um, probably on it'll probably be either the February 28th, March 1st, March 2nd, March 3rd, around there. But he's ready to go. So Beaueastel, he'll be qualifying. Hopefully before we do the next video, or maybe a day or two, or 1 or 2 or 3 days after the video, he'll be qualifying. So that's good news. That's another horse that's coming back. After he only had a short break, like 3 weeks off. Enola. All right, so we got our first replay. We're gonna do Enola. She raced on Friday. Very good third place finish. Two very good horses. So the two horses that she faced are exceptional, and I think they're from Sweden. I guess that's a new thing now. People are bringing in Swedish horses.
They have some great trotters there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this race was off a class hike too.
Double class hike, actually. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the 2-horse.
Yeah, fortunately, we were in a good spot, being closer to the pylons. That was huge. And certainly the short field always helps too, 6 versus 8. Yeah, so here she's making a bid for the top here, which is good. And she gets right behind the other one here.
Right here, I'm just praying that the 1 or 3 breaks. But
yeah,
if they paid all this money to bring her from Sweden, then they probably don't break.
Yeah, so horses with the S designation at the end, obviously, those are Sweden. A is Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, you're right. You don't really see all that many Swedish horses, and I'm surprised, we don't see a lot more. They're pretty accomplished trotters there, and they're in good hands with those Swedish trainers. They really know what they're doing here. All right, so here we get away now. Yeah, with third here, Caleb. And a good spot. I'm not expecting him to come first up here. I'm just like, you know what? You had a horse break, and now we're down to 5. It's like, all right, we're definitely getting a check here. So this is a good thing. Just sit chilly there. And we get to the half in 58.
It was kind of a nastier night, I would say. I think this is where there was a mist or a little rain. I want to say a little bit muddy.
Yeah. See here, Kelley's smart here. Bartlett's on the lead. I mean, Bartlett's just been, otherworldly. He's got a 1-2 shot here. Brett Holland's drafting behind him 2-1. It's like just, all we wanted to do here was finish strong, hit the board.
And Brett Holland's half in, half out. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah. And
it wouldn't have been a good time to try him.
Yeah, Brett was waiting as long as possible to make that move. There we go. And then, she's closing ground. She's coming home. Yeah.
And you see how she whips around that turn like flawlessly.
Yeah, she's really good on the turns. And that was a nice race.
Very nice mile, yeah.
I was very happy with that performance there. And I think it was a $19,000 purse. So 12%, it's not chump change.
Yep.
And we didn't have to race her that hard. Short field. We can get more of those in, just like that. Yes. And Kelley, good job by Kelley. He seems to get along with her very well. Did a nice job.
Yeah, he knows how good she is. So he's just he's racing her like it too. So But yeah, that's a like I said, Bob earlier, double jump, you get a third place in a $19,000 purse, double jump, take that any day of the week. So
And we look forward to her next start. And Pedro will get into that maybe in a little bit.
yeah, she'll be racing next week. She'll be back in the box tomorrow for Friday. Same,
Right.
I think it'll be the same race. So let's just hopefully we
And
draw on the inside.
yeah, what I was getting at was the competition could be interesting, as we
Oh
mentioned
yes,
earlier. Yeah, so
yeah,
we can talk
yes.
about that when you get to that horse,
So
or now if you want.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. She's racing on Friday. We think I got to check again. I think she fits the same class, and those two horses that she's facing, they they fit that class because of wins. So they have like I think they have it's they don't they made way more than 15,000 in the last five. So they only fit because I think they have less than 9 wins. I don't, and Sweden, maybe they were like just stakes horses in Sweden or something and just didn't rack up wins per se. So we'll see. Meaning they both might still be in that class. But maybe not. Maybe they'll draw on the outside. Maybe we'll draw on the inside. Maybe we'll get the rail. Maybe they'll get the 7-8 post. So, which changes things up considerably. But that's it. Then she can get some money off her card after that, and we'll just kind of keep going from there. So she's doing fine. She's um, she's healthy. She's sound. She's racing great, and she's excellent. Gets around the half beautifully. All right. Who do we want to talk about? Who's next? Uh, Next on the list is um, For Whom the Bell Tolls. Okay, so she's training and she's doing fine, and yeah, that's pretty much it. She has Rob's just messing around with her equipment and things like that, and she's doing okay, and she's moving along. Big, strong. She's not huge, but she's a taller, more on the taller side, Huntsville filly.
Yeah.
And I didn't get into her staking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Charlie.
No, I was just going to say, and we had a run on for whom the bell tolls shares in the last few days. So I'm not sure if we have anything left, do we? Do we
She's
have?
sold out now.
She's
She's
sold
sold
out now.
out.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess people were waiting, a little bit longer. I'm not sure, but I want to say it was a few days ago, um, during the week. She just like out of nowhere, just a run on her, and she was purchased. But yeah, she's doing great. We didn't mention her staking last week. She is staked to the Bobby Weiss series, which is in Poconos, which is the first. It goes all through April, so it's like the beginning of April up until the end of April, pretty much. And the purses are like I think there's 3 legs for 20,000, and there's a final for I want to say 50,000. And there's I don't quote me, not I don't have it in front of me. And then there's a consolation I think for 20,000. So it's a good series. It's for horses who haven't had 2 wins and hasn't made 30,000, and it's for 3-year-olds only. So we'll see. The key though is she gonna be ready before then? We think she will. 3-year-olds normally are ready by like end of March or so, but let's see what happens. That Bobby Weiss, they actually used to have it in like March. I think March or February. So they moved it back, which helps. So
Hmm.
she's staked for the Bobby Weiss in April at Poconos, and then she has New York. So which is goes for 3-year-olds. It goes from basically June until September, and then so that's all over New York. Monticello, Yonkers, Tioga, Vernon, Saratoga, everywhere. Buffalo, Batavia. Um, and then she has Massachusetts. So September, October, she'll have those Massachusetts Sire Stakes, and she might, and all between there, we'll be doing mixing in overnights and things like that. Um, so that's the story For Whom the Bell Tolls. Forgot to talk about her staking last week. Uh, Gretzky the Great, nothing to note on him. He's just swimming right now, and eventually he'll get back to the track, doing track work and jogging on track, but he's just swimming. Uh, Invictus, he is same as Beaueastel. He's ready to make his 2026. Well, I think he already raced 2026. He's ready to make his debut back on the track. Either I would say the earliest is probably Friday, Saturday this week. Could be the March 1st, March 2nd, March 3rd around then, but pretty much in a week he's ready to go. So Invictus is coming back soon. just Rose's luck. She is in to go later today at Saratoga, and she got the 8 posts, so I'm not really expecting much. If we get a 5th place, that's a win in my mind. And the big thing with that race, just want her. We need her to race, and Rob said he thinks Saratoga's going to race. He thinks the Blizzard's going to come later. Um, we just need that money to come off her card. So once she gets through that race, then a lot of money comes off her card, meaning she can drop way down, and we can get her in some better spots to start earning. And hopefully, it should be in a really good position for March, to kind of get back rolling again in that regard. She just kind of had been getting unlucky, a lot of unlucky stuff, either being sick, either being terrible posts, either in rough races that are just way faster than expected, and now an 8 post. So um, I just want to get this race in and kind of turn the page and get her rolling for March, where she can
Mm.
drop way down.
By the way,
Uh,
I have Saratoga on right now, and there's no snow. It's 2 minutes to post
oh,
for the
beautiful,
first race. So
beautiful.
that's yeah.
All right, so that is Rosa, Mine Hunter. So we can do Mine Hunter. He's next. He raced yesterday. Interesting race to say the least.
Very much so. There was a lot going on in this race if you watched it. Uh, I mean, we're going off the favorite in this race. We have 2 holes, so we pretty much know Jay's going to make a bid for the lead here. But unfortunately, you have others who had the same intention. So here we go. Let it roll. All right. So we have some leaders on the outside, and the ones also making a bid trying to get position. But we get to the top here. But unfortunately, you have Lightning Leon out there, and not sure who else that was. Was that Matthew Thurn? So right here, whoever's on the one closes. Well, he tries to close up the hole, but now we got pressure coming from the outside. Okay, so it wasn't an easy first quarter. I think it was 27-2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a slow clip here. So Jay's got to make a decision. Do I just sit chilling?
Well,
Decides not to.
that was a very brutal 27-2. These horses, they're doing more like 28. When they get to the
Right.
quarter.
Yeah, so
Twenty-seven
that
and
was
two.
much faster than I had hoped, and then he pulls and he wanted the lead. So and all of a sudden, now we're going to see some movement coming up shortly after the half. So we get 56-1. Okay, yeah, that was a fast clip, fast half. Now, I'm not mocking Cheese. I remember mocking Cheese from Tioga. Pedro, I'm sure you remember him as well from Tioga. Yeah, and he comes at us hard here. Okay.
He's like an old war horse, that
Yeah,
Monkeys.
yeah, it sure is. So right here, and then the one pulls out, Swiss Cotton. He's got they're all coming here. I'm like, man, it's getting really tight. And I knew we were in trouble here. You can sense it. I mean, he had to use him hard. Going for the lead, retaking, fighting off pressure. He didn't get much of a breather this whole entire mile. Horse sliding up the rail. I mean, all in all, I mean, look, he didn't get beat by much, but there was a lot of fresh legs there at the end, and they caught us. It was it's kind of an unfortunate trip, just the way circumstances worked out for us. In hindsight, was Jay better off just sitting in the pocket? Probably, but I can't fault him. He felt like he had the best horse in the race, and he drove him that way, and it
Yeah, and
just
if
didn't
you
work
think
out.
about it, if he didn't pull and he sat behind a 16-1 shot and got buried at the rail and never got out, we would have been critical of that too. So these guys make those decisions
Yeah,
under a lot of pressure in a very quick time frame. So you can't really hold him, to say he made a mistake there. It didn't work out well, but I'm not sure it was
right.
necessarily a mistake.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I agree.
like that. What you said, Bob, was spot on. Like there was another horse that Rob had, and it was almost identical thing, where Leon Bailey had a 16-1 shot pushed, and he's an aggressive driver. So anyone who knows Leon Bailey, he's a
Oh
very
yeah,
aggressive. Like if you're
yeah.
looking for a driver who's going to blast off no matter what price that
Hmm.
horse is Leon
Yep.
Bailey. So he did the same thing with Rob. another one of Rob's horses who was the favorite, and he jumped to the front, and then Jay, like you said, Bob, he sat in the pocket behind that horse. He was like, all right, you blasting off with a 17-1. You must feel good about this. I'll sit behind you. He sat behind him the whole way. By the time the half came or the three-quarter came, that horse just started backing up through the entire field. And, Rob's the favorite, just backing up behind this bomb that jumped to the front with Leon. In hindsight, in this race, that horse actually held up. So it's like,
Yeah, you don't
so
know.
so it's like, all right, maybe you should have probably sat in the pocket behind that horse. You know,
It's
it's
always easy. It's always easier to say after the race is over, whether it works your way, it doesn't
yes,
work your way. So,
yes,
I
it's
mean,
yeah, and also I will say, and Rob, what I I will say also that I do feel Mindhunter is a better horse
mhm,
than that. I do think he's still shaking off some major cobwebs off, and he's only
mhm.
swimming right now. So that's the other thing is he's only been swimming, like just swimming, and that was the routine he was on even when we got him at Yonkers into the fall, and he was doing exceptional with that. Um, but Rob said he will make some changes with him, and he will start. His foot, his ankle, that bone bruise is fully healed. So Rob said he's gonna start jogging him and training him on the actual track, going forward between races,
Yeah,
just
and
to
I think
see
you'll
if
see him be sharper. Yeah, once that
exactly,
happens. Yeah,
just to give him that hard workout and
yeah.
get, he thinks the ankle, will be fine, you know. So
I mean,
we'll,
when you take that into consideration, he raced really well considering he's only been swimming.
yeah, that's all he's doing, just
I mean,
swimming.
that's pretty damn good. Yes, me.
Yes. So that's the plan with him. He will be back in the box for next week, for Saratoga. I think he fits that same race, and and the big thing, yeah, he will start getting track work now, just to get those juices flowing again.
Hmm.
And Rob feels his ankles is healed and he'll handle it fine. Because even when he was in Claimers, like with La Terza and stuff in Yonkers, they don't have a pool. So he was in track training, jogging and training at the track all the time.
Hey,
Oh,
Yonkers doesn't have anything. They don't have the paddock. They don't have
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
They have stalls and that's it. And
right,
it is what
right.
it is. You can
So,
only work with what you have, right?
yep. So we'll see. We'll see kind of how that goes with my hunter. But yeah, he was like I said, like we talked about, just a little roughed up early, and then um, it looks like it took a lot out of him. But these races will help him, get back into the groove. So that's him. He'll be back in next week. Let's just hope we draw inside again. Um, all right, who's next? On to Ship's Revenge. No news to note on her. She is up in Binghamton with Alice Guevara, just hanging out, checking on her to see if she's showing signs of being in heat. Skybox, our old friend Skybox. So he raced on Thursday night, and he did well. He came in a good strong second for us. He was claimed after that race for from us for $40,000, and we wish Skybox all the best. He was um, a horse that it's interesting. You have a bunch of different people who are on that horse. You had people who were on him from the beginning when we bought him as a $25,000 yearling like 3.5 years ago. I think it's 3.5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And from a stakes, he was never a big stakes horse guy. Like he was an Excelsior. He was just he was more of like an Excelsior horse, and that was pretty much it. Um, but he was fun. He made good. He made some good money as a 2-year-old. I think he made like 30,000. 3-year-old, he made like 80,000, I want to say. And then 4-year-old last year, yeah, he just had a rough year. He had a really rough year, and there was at one point that his stock was so far down that we were thinking about selling him for like 15,000. You know what I mean? Like it was bad. He had a rough year all along, and it was a lot of it was like soundness issues. His feet were bothering him. He had all this going on. His shoulder. Paul trying to figure it out. Then he went to Rob, and then Rob did a excellent job with him. Rob, they both did a good job. Paul did a good job at the end, kind of tinkering with him to kind of get him kind of straightened out a little bit. And then Rob did a great job because he just seemed to really like Big Z, the big barn atmosphere, a lot of horses around him, getting jogged and trained all the time. Um, and and he did a great job for us. This winter we had a lot of fun with him. But the big thing is $40,000 is a lot of money. So congratulations to everyone who was on Skybox. The people who jumped on late, at 20,000, you guys. I mean, you guys did great. You guys doubled your money in a couple of months. So this game is. By the way, this game is not that easy. So don't think that's going to happen all the time. When you buy a horse, you buy a horse, and 3 months later you double your money. That's not going to happen all the time. But when it does happen, as they say, cash don't go lame. So you put that cash in the bank, you put that profit in the bank, and then the guys who run them since the beginning. I think we all in total from the beginning, I think we have a profit now with the horse, which is for 3.5 years to own a horse and have a profit at the end is pretty good. Is like exceptional. Some of the other guys have jumped in at different prices. At least 40,000 is good money. It's better than losing them for like 15,000 or something. Where we would have been like, oh man, 15,000. So anyway, we wish Skybox the best. He was a fun horse. We can't keep horses forever. In the end, it's a business, and everyone will see that you'll see that claim on your February statements in March, and hopefully we get that, from our side. The claim funds takes a little while to come from Yonkers. But yeah, so that was it. It was almost like he got claimed for like 44,000, with the purse, which is it's really good. All right, so that's the story with Skybox. We wish him well, and then Soho Skyfall. Trying to think anything else with Skybox. Skybox, he's going to Jared Bako, which is a good barn in New York, and I hear good things about him. So he'll be in good hands. And Soho Skyfall is next, and he's our last horse to go through. Soho.
And heading into this race, Rob gave Jay instructions. Let's not go to the lead with them. Let's race him from the back. We don't want to have him, look to fire off the gate every race. We want him to be a little bit more versatile. Let's see how he comes off the pace in this race. And we haven't really been able to get him into a good routine, racing him regularly. With the weather and everything else. We had pretty much discussed that in previous. Emails and in our YouTube videos. And, here he gets away 6. Okay. Gapping a little bit. There was a little craziness, a little chaos going on the backside in this race. Well, was that on the back half that happened?
Yeah, I think it's right here.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
He slowed it down. Looks like the 5 horse, like crazy.
Yeah, a little confusion here. And he really swelled up a lot there, Jay said, and you can see Jay really leaning back, in the bike to get a hold of him. He didn't want him to go just yet. So that's why he's gapping a little bit there. But right now Jay's just sitting. He's biding his time, and he's just planning on making a big move late in the race. Half goes in 58-1, slow half. So we knew it was going to be tough for him to really close and make up that much ground. And I'm just hoping here, we can get a decent check, 3rd or 4th. And then there's a bow going on, brewing there on the front end here. So, even though, we're right now we're like 4th over, we know it's going to be tough here. He's got to pass he's got to get around that traffic here. And, once the 6 gets by and clears, then he's picking up steam. And, I had a feeling here he was going to come home real good, and he did. We were very, very pleased with the effort here. But, he just had too much ground to make up here, with that slow half,
Oh, yeah.
It's only going to get him so. But the key is he did pass horses here, and he's really motoring now. I'm not sure what his last quarter was.
It was 28-3, but
okay.
Yeah, he was very good. Yeah, it was one of those things. Oh, you can say something, Bob?
I was just saying, a good finishing kick. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, you both said it, and Charlie, you said at the beginning, it's like Rob just wanted to give him, if everyone, we've been following Soho Skyfall since he tried to come back in December, and ups and downs this winter with him. And every race, even the qualifiers, he's We saw it last year with Soho Skyfall. He's a very high-strung horse. He's a high-strung horse. You put his nose in the gate, he's going to want to blast out, which is a good quality, especially on a half-mile track. That's an excellent quality to have. You want a horses that can blast off to the front. And we were doing that all winter, and things just it was kind of crazy. We were doing that at Meadowlands, and then it was like 54 first halves, and the typhoon, and the hurricane. It just things were getting. He didn't really get a chance to kind of like just be a racehorse and be in a race and kind of feel the flow and make a move. It was just chaos every time right off the bat. So this week we just wanted to Rob just wanted to just give him a confidence race, like a braving him up type of race. Just like, all right, take him off the pace, let him see some horses in front of him, and let him want to track him down, with a reasonable pace. And that's what we saw. So that's why that was exactly what we want to see. Every time Jay was holding, if you saw those lines with Jay, I'm making the little driver hands right now. If you saw the lines with Jay, it was tight lines, meaning he was pulling him back the whole way. And then every time Jay kind of loosened up a little bit and gave him a little bit of line, you saw Soho was like jutting forward. And yeah, I think if Jay went 3 wide around that one early and just said, you know what, I want to bulldoze this race. I think Soho, he looked so good, he probably would have kept going, and he could have probably been closer up for third or second. But this is perfect. Finished strong. They actually gave him a similar Trackmaster rating to Mindhunter, and Mindhunter is he's been racing well too. So that's exactly what we want to see. Soho Skyfall will be back in next week. He actually can drop down now, so believe it or not, he can drop down to the lowest level. We'll see how they race him, if he's off the pace or if he tries to come off the pace again like that and just blow past the horses. But yeah, he is dropping down next week, and he'll be back at Saratoga. And thank Jay. And thank Rob for the work they're doing with him to kind of get his mojo back. He's a horse that fights. He's a horse that fights hard until the end, and that's what we saw. I was very happy.
I think the biggest takeaway from this race is that we know now that he could leave. He could wire the field, and at the same time he could race off the pace, and he could pass horses. And he could win from the back. And like you said, he's a very headstrong horse, and Jay had to be really careful there with him, not to grab into him too hard, shut off his air. He drove him perfectly, and there's a very fine line there when you're grabbing a horse. Grabbing him too much, you got to just grab him just enough so that you don't shut him down and shut up his air, and then he comes home in 30, 31. So. Good job by Jay.
Yep. All right. Bob, you have anything else to add, or I think we're gonna wrap up after this?
I think we're good.
All right, everyone. Enjoy. Is there Olympics? I'm so out of it with the Olympics.
Closing activities tonight.
Okay, closing activities tonight. We got Rosa later. Like I said, not expecting much, and yeah, good luck on your horses next week. I think we should have a pretty decent field racing, and hopefully some qualifying. And as long as the weeks keep churning, we should start getting some horses back next month. Next month, at the end of next month, or beginning of April, we should have a pretty good amount coming back with all the 3-year-olds in Gretzky. So, all right, everyone, have a good week and take care, and thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.